Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 2 of Congratulations, 47th President of the United States, Dr. Cornel West. I have a guest. It's not going to just be me fumbling like it was. We're gonna pretend that first episode didn't exist and kind of put it under the rug and just say it never happened, because now I don't have to be like and I have somebody to talk to. I'm gonna let my guest, who's been on my platform before, introduce himself, and we'll get started.
My name is Artist Bernie. I'm from Van Cleve, Mississippi. I'm the Green Party candidate for Senator of District 51 in Jackson County, Mississippi. Thanks for having me again.
Oh, you're welcome. I'm so glad you could do this. It has been a chore. Let me tell you something. It's been a chore to find guests. All these supporters out here, I'm like, well, appear on the podcast. Well, if you can't talk to me about your support, how are you going to talk to somebody else that may be like teeter-tottering? But that's me. So, before I get started, subscribe to this channel. I'm at 139. I literally feel like I could get to 140, and that would make me, because I had a goal of 1,000. It doesn't look like that's going to happen, and I have to deal with that. But if I could get to 300 before my birthday in January, that would make me feel so good about turning the big five. I can't believe I'm saying this. 5-0. Ooh, let me bring it in. Let me bring it in. Let me bring it in. Because I still can't believe I'm like, So that would make me feel good about entering in the half century mark. Because I'm looking forward to it, but that'd be an extra birthday present for me. And of course, please subscribe and get your tickets for the virtual scavenger hunt. That's November the 4th. It is at, I believe, 1:30 to 2:30 p.m. It's a virtual scavenger hunt. Tickets start at $15. They go up to $35. But all the funds that I raise will go for this channel, because as you can see, I need a big, nice backdrop, which I don't have, and some lights, which I can't afford in a second computer, so I can share videos, which is what I really want to do, but I can't do it on this one computer because I don't know how to do it. So support me in this fundraiser. Definitely, please. You can also support me on buymeacoffee.com/TRACYMedia LLC. That's what that little short address is. It'll take you right to that page. And finally, we have a guest in the chat. Good afternoon, Parker. Thank you for watching. Yes, this is going to be an interesting episode. I can tell you we've heard some things that I had to kind of be talked down from, but hey, Parker. So, I want to talk about, and I'm going to try not to dominate the conversation because I don't want to do that. Artist is well capable of speaking for himself. Why do you support Dr. West's campaign to be president?
I support Dr. West because he's not afraid to speak truth to power. He leads with compassion. He leads with an articulate thought process. He considers the least of us first. He's consistent. He's consistently done that. Even as far as a few weeks ago at the March to End Fossil Fuels, he was the only presidential candidate that I saw out front at the March to End Fossil Fuels, out engaging with the public, speaking, and trying to find solutions where other leaders throw their hands up and say, "Oh, there's nothing we can do except for the same old thing." So I think that he would make a fantastic representative for the United States and the direction that we need to go.
See, now I was different because last year I did a show about top 5 people who I would want to see run as president. Oh, you can take yourself off of mute because we're going to go back and forth. And I said, I would like to see da 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 da. And Dr. West was on that list. So it was a Wednesday that I heard he was running, and I'm just like, did he hear what I was saying? Did he hear what I was throwing up? I was so shocked because I remember him saying, "I'd rather live in the crack house than the White House." And I
Mhm.
always remember him saying it. I'm like, it must be desperate out here for him to even think I better run.
Yeah, yeah. And it's the perfect. It in my opinion, it had to happen for him to step out front, um, because this gesture that him, even just the gesture of him uh, running for president, it wakes a lot of people up on both sides of on both major political parties, because Dr. West has the attention of people on both political parties, and folks who don't necessarily know about him. The way he delivers information, the way he speaks, the way he can tap into that that core of a person, to make them think about, really check themselves and their conscience. It had to happen. We have to have some serious moral reckoning here in the United States, some sorting out some feelings, some real feelings.
Yeah, that's when I think about it, you're exactly right. I didn't think about how terrible, and I'm going to say this word again, terrible our current administration is.
Yeah.
And especially with the Israeli Gaza, I get that whole area confused because I'm still trying to, in my mind, understand you just can't let them live there and not bomb them. And then you get, I don't understand that, but I'll be doing a whole separate video on that. His response, and I'm talking about President Biden, he's lucky I call him president. He won, so basically that's the only reason I'm calling him president is because he has a title.
Right.
His response, Dr. West had it right. It was pathetic.
Oh
I
man, it
was,
hurt.
I was like, have you ever heard of a cease call? I thought he was gonna say call for a ceasefire and let's get to the table and negotiate. Nope, he didn't.
No, that hurt. I was really disappointed in him. And but it brought me back to this thing that we, whenever we elected him, we were trying so hard not to get not to allow Donald Trump to be president again, that we ended up going through this dance that we do of choosing the lesser of two evils. And there is no lesser of two evils. I mean, you have
Thank you.
evil and then you have evil. And so why not choose something that's not evil for a change?
Oh, you did, because we were gonna get to my top five dumb things. And I say dumb because I don't like to call people stupid, but things that otherwise smart people say about voting for a third party candidate. And that's like right there at the top. And we'll talk about those later. But I didn't think, here, how can I ask this question? Because it's right there. And I know the word, I know what I want to ask, but I'm wanting the question to come out right. Because it's two ways that you could, there's two arguments that people who are against third party candidates frame their argument. It's either your vote is wasted or your vote could bring us Trump. And I'm like, well, it can't be, but like which vote are you riding? Because it can't, unless I'm just missing it. It can't be both, right?
Right. Right.
Because I'm like, how can it be both? My vote is pointless, okay, but now my vote is gonna bring Trump into office, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, those are, to me, those seem like people who are voting with patriotism, and people who are afraid of things to change. And I understand that fear of change. What's on the other side of the wall, you don't know what to expect, so you get anxious. And I think some folks allow people to turn that anxiousness into fear, because we need to do something. Nothing is never the right thing to do. And if we keep on doing the same things over and over and again, that's equivalent to doing nothing.
And the thing is, which I wish I could just sit down and just take all of America, sit them down for a lesson. No matter whether you vote for Biden or whether you vote for Trump, the situation in Gaza isn't going to change. We're not going to get Medicare for all. We're not going to get a sustainable living wage. We're not going to do anything. Nothing changes until we change. Once we change, then that's when the change. But I can never say it the right way.
Well, right now it's the United States being put on display in front of the entire world for still supporting its colonialist mindset, because no matter if it was colonization or this colonialism that was practiced back in the 1800s, it's still alive and well today, because that's exactly what's going on in Palestine right now.
Right.
You have this group of people who are from Europe, who who were given somebody else's land as reparations for what they went through under in Europe. Um, and that's how colonialism works. We discovered this, like they discovered Palestine when there were a whole bunch of people already living in Palestine who said, we don't want y'all here. And it's been going, they plotted to be in Palestine in like 1917. They finally moved in like 1947 and started occupying this territory. And now here it is in 2023, they're still saying, get out, get out. We don't want you here. And still, it's being recognized as an apartheid state by everybody on the planet, except for the United States and Israel. And so it's just another attempt for the colonizers to rewrite history. And the thing about colonization is they don't want to just come in and take over your territory. You either take over and they absorb you, you become them, or they turn the
Right.
guns on you.
Exactly. And I think the thing that makes me so angry about this, Lord, please forgive. No, because I'm right. But Lord, watch my tongue. Christian Zionists. I'm so sick of y'all misinterpreting the Bible. I'm tired of it. It don't make no sense. You cannot sit here and tell me that you're okay. It's like everything Israel does is right. You really gonna go with that? You really gonna go with that? You gonna go with that? Okay.
It's the same as in whenever the same core group of people colonized Australia, Turtle Island, Canada, South Africa. It's all apartheid. In every single instance. And a friend of mine pointed out something to me about Palestine and Israel. Israel, separating facts from feelings. Okay, Israel is number 2 on the planet when it comes to the rate of skin cancer. Okay. And these people that are laying claim to this land in Palestine, the Jewish settlers, they claim that this is their ancestral homeland, that God promised this land to them, but yet and still they have the second highest rate of skin cancer behind Australia. To me, that also speaks volumes. You can't just come in and take somebody's place because you feel entitled, or because you make up this story about how you want to fold yourself into this religion, this religion that's not indigenous to, not yours. Fold yourself into this religion and lay claim to something that's not yours.
But and that's again where I get it. The Christian Zionists who are like, let's just give. They're literally one can just give Israel everything they ask for. Don't give anything to Cuba, who we've exiled for literally no reason. Underdeveloped countries, just give it all to Israel. Literally, I was going to say Josh Hawley said, take the money from Ukraine and just give it to Israel. No pushback. And even if somebody said, this is my ancestral homeland, you need to be reading like what we call the Old Testament, where it says live peaceably. If they come into your country, you treat them like they live there. You don't exile them, you don't kill them, you treat them the same way you would want to be treated. That's not an exact quote, but it's somewhere around, I'm somewhere near it.
Well, we've been conditioned to think of especially foreign brown people. Every time we hear them on mainstream media, we hear them referred to as terrorists or insurgents or something to that effect. And it's always this vilification of of these foreign folks. We don't, you know, we're not taught. We're taught patriotism here as opposed to real history. And while these other people across the world are actually living this history, living these things in real time, here in the United States, we're so disconnected from it because we're, you know, we're full of folks who believe that we're entitled because of our level of patriotism, and that's way off. You
I
know,
mean, we've been off so long. It's basically from our beginning. I was talking to someone, and we're gonna talk about Dr. West because we got some stuff to get to. But I want to get this part out just because it's been pressing on me. I always hear, "Oh, America's a Christian nation," and as a Christian, I always wonder, really, why did he allow? Why, if we're a Christian nation, how come we had slaves? You know how many no answers I've actually gotten to that question? I'm like, well, it's a Christian. You said, you, not me. I didn't say that.
well, and here growing up here in South Mississippi, whenever I would ask about slavery, you know, people would refer to the Bible and said, look, God wanted black people to be slaves in America. It says right here that there was going to be a time whenever folks, and they tried to explain that away using that book to twist the present time to fit their.
All you gotta do is read and know that those are two different types of. Are y'all for real? Y'all can't be thinking we that dumb. I didn't believe that stuff when I was a child, and I certainly don't believe it now.
Right.
But back to Dr. West. So here's another thing that's really getting on my nerves. I knew the attacks were gonna come. I knew they were gonna come. I thought they would get low, but I didn't think they would get this low. We're gonna take each of the attacks and kind of talk about them. The taxes. The fact that he owes $500,000 in taxes. This did not bother me. I don't know why everybody in our, I don't know if you're in any of the Dr. West pages about his candidacy. This literally did not bother me. I'm like, is this supposed to be something? Because I don't get it.
Yeah, I mean, and that's something that can be, you know, it has a dollar value, so that can be taken care of, you know, you know, by paying it off. I mean,
I'm like,
and
yeah,
then we
he's.
live it. We live out here. People accrue debt. This is America, you know.
I know it's like, wait a minute, maybe I'm missing something. Well, he owes it. I'm like, yeah, Trump owed it, and he got elected to be. Am I missing something? I felt like I was missing something. I'm like, okay, I owe student loan debts, not that I'm paying on them, but I owe student loan debt. I'm like, okay.
It's a different level of, it's a different standard that Dr. West is being held to, you know, because I think it's one, it's because he's an intellectual. Two, because he's black. And three, because he's pushing against this power structure that's already in place. He wants to adjust it and to where it works for everybody instead of some people. And so they're trying to hold them to an unreasonable standard. Like they're to a different standard than everybody else is holding. We have Donald Trump is probably going to go to jail, but people are still wanting to elect this cat, you know, this cat president, but then says Dr. You know, but brings up the fact that Dr. West owes some money. It's a real hypocritical double standard, but that just goes to colonialism. You know, goes back again to colonialism. All these things by these brown men who want positive change in the system, they're held to an unreasonable standard.
How dare he have a train of thought and be dedicated to the upbringing of black? How dare he? How dare he? And Parker, I'm gonna get to yours because this was the worst lie. The child support. I'm like, wait a minute. This man has children. I think he has a child my age. How in the world? How in the, I'm like, y'all, that's the best y'all could do. That's the best y'all could do. Come on.
Yeah.
Child support. That was the worst one until they got to this most recent one, which I'm going to get to in a couple of seconds here. But the child support one, I'm like, y'all done went too low. Now y'all done just went. I'm like,
That's another cliche. They're trying to tarnish that brother's shine. See, he's just like the rest of those black deadbeat daddies, you know, and that's just one of those things that they would throw out there to keep going in the news cycle to keep this, you know, to keep the focus off what this brother is saying and keep focus on what they're saying about him.
Yeah, Parker, how did you think that was true? His children are my age, except for his youngest daughter. His youngest daughter, she's like 20 something. But the child support, I just thought, here they go, bringing an image of a black man who can't take care of his children. That's what I chopped it up to, and I'm just like, oh, okay, so they're gonna pull this one. They're gonna
Right.
pull this one, and the worst one. And then there were some other criticisms, and this one I still don't understand this one. Peter Dow as the campaign manager. I'm just gonna sit back and just let you kind of wait a minute. I'm gonna
Yeah.
answer before you get to. I'm gonna answer Parker's question. It could have been for Parker. His exes and his children all deny that. They say he was never like behind on child support, et cetera, et cetera. So he's always taking care of his responsibilities. Oh, and now you go ahead. I just wanted to answer Parker's
Well,
question
well,
first.
that's it. That again, that's something that people want to. That's something that there's a certain segment of the population they want to believe things about like that about their brother. So they go out of their way to try to make these things true, even if it's not. Even if it's not, even if they don't have the facts to back it up, they're gonna take that and run with it because they want that to be true. Now, what we say? I'm sorry. What did
We
you
were
just say? I'm
talking
sorry.
about the selection of Peter Dow as the campaign manager and how people, and especially in the Green Party, especially in the Dr. West campaign groups that I've been in, I mean, people were just like, I'm leaving. This is it. I can't take it. I'm like, it's the campaign manager. What?
Yeah. Well, from my understanding, Dow has been kind of ostracized by the major political parties. Um, I have some concerns. I have some now. There is some optimism with me as far as him being Dr. West's campaign manager. It's because he knows how the game is played, and he doesn't. And since he has kind of ostracized him, has been ostracized. I think they're afraid of him for a reason. Maybe he knows some things that might work in order to expose some some uh, some cracks in the armor of the two major political parties that might be able to slide Dr. West into a much better light. But at the same time, he is a part of that system, and I don't know if he could. I don't know if he's capable of stepping outside of the box and running something running a campaign that's really radical in order to do something that hasn't been done in America before.
I'm
So,
going to disagree with you. Here's why. Because most of the people who were Green Party, because he was running Green Party at that time, they were Democrats or they voted Democrats. They may not have counted themselves as Democrat, but they voted Democrat. So he was like, I've had enough of this. I'm not going to promote this party that does this, this, and this. So I'm like, hey, I I didn't see it because to me, Dr. West's platform got a lot clearer once he took over as the campaign manager. Because if you look before on his website, cornelwest24.com, if you looked on that page before, there were just like four little things. Now there's an 11-point pillars that you can actually read. Um, um, and it really improved. It got more black forward. I mean, it was just like night and day. Now that's just my opinion.
uh-huh. No, I do agree. I do agree. Now he definitely knows how to to reach people and develop a message. He's much better at developing the message than the Green Party was before, hands down. Um, because it seemed like the Green Party at first didn't really know how they wanted to approach Dr. West in his campaign. If they wanted to be, all in with him, or they just wanted to dance around and see how folks would receive him and then see how they wanted to get on. But it didn't really seem like, but now it seems like like he's, like there's much more of um, a solid message and a solid something to get behind with Dr. West.
And you just eased right into the next part of the discussion, the decision by Dr. West to leave the Green Party. And I'm saying this as a Green Party member. They'll probably kick me out when they see it, but oh well, there's PSL. At this point, I'm like, oh well. The Green Party has set itself up for failure. There's this mentality of, and people still say, and it still drives me crazy, oh, we could get 5%. I'm off of 5%. I'm off of it. I want to hear about it. It's like, yes, you can get little wins along the way, and I believe in that. But ultimately, I want to see the Green Party move us its convention from July to maybe January. Somewhere you're not giving a candidate, like if you become their nominee, let's just say it's in July, first week of July. You got July, August, September, October. No, that's 5 months. 5 months? Like, yes, the Democrats and Republicans can get away with that. One, because they have more money than you do. You don't have the money that they have. You don't have the skill to get on TV like they have. So you need a longer time to get your message out than they do. And I didn't feel like, and I think I literally said this, like, that's not fair to the candidate to give them that short of a time.
Yeah, it didn't seem like they were playing to win,
But their
because
convention has always been like that. And
and
they had,
it never seemed to me like they were playing to win.
yeah, and it's like, do y'all want to win, or y'all just okay with Parker? You must have missed my interview with another candidate that's running as a Green Party nominee. His name is, oh boy, Davi. Go back and watch that interview that I just did Thursday. I spent a lot, not with him personally, he couldn't be on the show, but I spent some time with his campaign manager. It was an interesting interview because his platform, I was like, okay, and I just went over what I didn't understand, but go back and watch it. But yes, Jasmine Sherman is still running as Green Party, and there's two more, but I think it's ultimately going to be probably Dr. Stein herself getting in and run. That's what I think. It makes the most sense. But I just like, y'all don't want to win. Y'all can't want to win. Not with this. You can't.
Right. Right. Yeah.
You got to give yourself some sort of, like I said, head start.
And whenever you look at the, how the political game is played in the United States, that seemed like it seemed like a soft push, like a person who is just like a person who books a fight with somebody that they know they're going to beat, but they want to have the fight because they want to sell some tickets and make it seem like
right.
There
like
was
I'm trying. No, you're not. Because if you was really trying, you probably push back that selection committee.
Right.
Or what do we call it? See, that's how bad it is. I know we don't have a primary. I know we use ranked choice voting, convention, nominating, whatever it's called. And see, Parker, I don't think it would be a surprise if Jill ran again because I know Abby Hawkins ain't running again. Because to be honest, was we really out there campaigning for him? Probably not. I mean, to be honest, I was just like, I voted for him because I wanted my choice for Indiana governor to get on the ballot. And Bernie Sanders, who I did support, hadn't put his name on as an independent. So I'm like, well, I can't vote for him. So I got to go vote for somebody. So, yeah, I don't see Howie Hawkins running again. I do think that it's going to be Jill that ultimately gets it. Now, I could be wrong, but I'm probably right.
You think maybe Dr. Stein to get the Green Party nominee for president?
I do.
Yeah, I think so too.
Because I can't think. I know Baraka Ajamu. I don't see him running. Not as much as I mean, if people think Cornel West is radical, like y'all ain't even seen radical yet. y'all don't even know what it means. Like, America can't take that.
It seems to me that that the Green Party would still rally behind Dr. West. That's what they should, in my opinion, they should do, because it created so much excitement in the Green Party when he announced that he was a Green Party candidate, that he was seeking the Green Party nomination for president. You know, we had, I mean, I spoke to folks from, from clear across the country, brothers all the way out in Oakland, California, all the way out everywhere, who were excited. It sparked good conversations about um, a positive direction for the country, not just the party. So, in my opinion, the Green Party should still support Dr. West.
That's what I would hope, but I think the rules of the party don't set up like that. I think to get the Green Party nomination, you actually have to run as a Green Party candidate. If I'm right, I'm pretty sure I'm right about it because I read through that nomination thing like 105 times. Yep, that's my life, y'all. I read platforms to run for president. That's what I do all day. But I'm almost certain that you have to declare yourself a Green Party candidate. Although they could probably change that rule and just go ahead and support Dr. West anyway, but then you get personalities. Um, but I think it was the right thing for him to do to run as an independent, especially with the nomination convention being in July. I'm like, y'all got to be joking. How the heck he gonna run? And artist is either gone or his
No,
camera's gone.
I was gonna let you know whenever you have to plug your show again. Let me know, because I need to put a plant outside real fast. It's causing an issue. I apologize.
Okay, so he's gonna do that, and I'm just gonna talk to y'all a bit. What do I want to talk about? Boy, we were doing so good here. Um, yeah, like I said, I think it's the right issue or the right reasons because again, you can't have a nomination committee that meets in July, and even if it's the first week, um, the first week in July, that doesn't give them but 5 months. No, really four, because the election would be like November 5th, 2024. So you're talking July, August, September, October. That's 4 months. What the bleep you expect somebody to do in 4 months? That don't make no sense. So I hope the Green Party uses this to kind of take a look at themselves internally and figure out, hey, we need to move this nomination process back. Imagine a Jill Stein versus Dr. West versus RFK versus whoever the libertarian. See, okay, here's the thing, and I'm gonna say it again. If Dr. West gets on the debate stage, it's over.
Right.
It's literally over. You can pack the bags. We can go celebrate. I can buy my ticket to DC because I'm going. Period. Point blank. That's how I feel.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's one thing that I was thinking about too on the debate stage in a straight up conversation. You know, he's the most qualified, and he's head and shoulders above those folks as far as articulating solutions and speaking truth to power, and that's what we need right now. And so then, we have a history in this colonized system to where whenever somebody disagrees with us, we have a tendency to say, well, we're not going to talk to them. We don't negotiate with terrorists. We don't speak to people about anti-Semitism, even though there's a history of, Israeli aggression against people against people in Palestine. We don't talk about those things. So with him on the stage, there's no way to avoid those conversations. And so I think they're going to do everything they can to keep that from happening.
Yep. And of course, we're gonna keep on. We're gonna get to my top five ones, and then have artists respond to them. But I got to talk about the elephant in the room, the one that almost had me off the campaign until I watched the Tim Black show. The $3,000 contribution by Harlan Crow. I thought when I first heard about it, I'm like, dude, come on, really, really, you gonna really take money from these people? But then I should have thought, wait a minute, Biden out here taking millions. Millions. Nobody be saying squat about it. Nobody. Let me ask you this question: how much influence do you think that $3,300 buys?
Zero.
Yeah, that's what I could.
Zero
That's a
influence.
conclusion. I was like, he can't buy no influence for 3,300. Now, if it was a million, okay, I'm gone. I'm out. I'm done. I'll support PSL and I'll be about my way. But 3,000?
Yeah, that's petty. That's petty for them to even bring that up. And I'm gonna tell you what, resources, money is a resource. Period. Um, and I didn't see a problem with Dr. West taking any amount of money from Harlan Crow because I believe in Dr. West's integrity. I believe if somebody who disagrees with me tries to spend money with me to try to buy my opinion, they're wasting their money. And so I feel like if somebody is trying to spend money to buy Dr. West um, opinion or buy him, it seems to me like that's a waste of money because he doesn't seem like the type brother that would be bought even if he did decide to use the money.
And I think the one thing that we want in terms of, and I'm saying this Green Party, independent, third parties, whatever, I think we are guilty of wanting the perfect candidate. And I'm like, look at here, y'all. Whatever religion you worship is whatever you do, but I'm talking about what I do. Jesus is not running for office.
Right.
Who you're describing, absolutely positive. But see, he ain't running, right? So perfection is not what you gonna get. Because Dr. West can't do what Jesus can do, period. It ain't gonna happen. And he'd probably be the first person to tell you that. And I'm like, we be wanting too much. We want somebody walk on water, feed the sick, raise the dead, walk through walls, build the highway. No, it doesn't work like that.
Yeah, and since we can't have that extreme of a perfect candidate, then we feel like we have to settle for the other extreme.
Yep.
The evils. We can't have good, so we got to have evil. We can't have anything in the middle. We got to have.
I don't think either of us are guilty of saying that Dr. West is a perfect candidate.
Right.
Because there's some things I'm like, but yeah, no. But overall, I always feel like if a politician or somebody running for office, if I can be for 80% of what you say, then I can support you. Dr. West, he's about 95%. And I tell no lie. I'm like 95% of what he's saying. I'm like, yep, that makes sense to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. He's the first presidential candidate I've ever heard speak about Cancer Alley. He's the first presidential candidate that I've ever heard to speak about fossil fuels poisoning neighborhoods, openly speak about those things and disrupting those fossil fuel money changers, and even using the Jesus references, run them out of the church, so that like Dr. King said, we can have some air to breathe for ourselves. He's the only person I've ever heard say anything, only presidential candidate or only political candidate out front trying to do something major that I've ever heard say that kind of stuff.
Yeah, Parker, I don't think he sent the money back, and I don't think he should send the money back. And I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to tell you why before you say, but Tracy, he sent money to Clarence Thomas. He only gave $3,300. He can't really buy no influence with that. He can, like I said, if it was $1 million, I'd be like, nah. If anything over $100,000, well, anything over $10,000, that's where I'm like, okay, I'm gonna have a problem with you. But I don't think he sent the money back. But if he doesn't, I'm still gonna support him.
Right.
Oh well, it takes money to run elections. Last time I checked.
Right.
And then, like I said, then I thought, well, Biden out here getting millions, and Trump getting billions. Yeah, I ain't gonna say nothing about them.
Right.
Oh, wait a minute, hold on. He did send it back. Thank you, Parker, for the correction. But I still, if he hadn't sent it back, I wasn't going to be like, oh, well, I'm done. It would take literally. Now, here's my question to you. I'm gonna answer it first. I'm gonna let you answer. What would it take for you not to support Dr. West? And for me, it's two things. One, you say something disparaging about black women because you done like you. I won't. I don't do it. I can't. And two, he's caught on tape saying something bad about poor people. Them two things. Oh, and Jewish people. It just like any kind of racist, Nazi supporting, Hitler loving stuff. I'm out. That's what it would take for me.
Right. Yeah. Only I hear you. Only two. And there's, one thing that if he was to ever come out and say that he is supporting the Israeli occupation of Palestine,
Yeah, something
then
like that. I'd be like,
something like that,
dude,
I would be like, no, Dr. West, they got you, man. They
PSL, I'm down with y'all. What y'all need me to do?
yeah.
What y'all need me? You tell me. I just can't see it. And like I said before, again, there's no such thing as a perfect candidate. Dr. West is close. He's not perfect. Cause some stuff he do, I'm like, dude, if you don't stop that with them jazz references, I'm gonna just stop it. But that's who he is. And so once I learned, oh well, that's just him being him.
Right.
Then I was like,
Right.
okay, it doesn't bother me because what I should be looking at, and what I learned to look at, was the policies.
Mm-hmm.
And once, like I said, that pillar, I want everybody to go to cornelwest24.com and read those 11 pillars. It is the most black forward policy I have ever read in my. I've been voting since I was 18, and now I'm about to turn. Lord, I'm gonna say this right. I have a century years old. Oh, I'm gonna get there, yeah. I'm gonna get there. But it's hard for me to believe I got that old that quick. But I mean, it's not old. That was for them other people, not for me. But it's the most black forward policy I have ever read. When he started talking about racism and healthcare, I'm like, oh, how can I not support this? How can I, as a black person who has gotten literally nothing from the Democrat Party, nothing, no thing have I ever gotten from
thing. Absolutely
no
right.
thing from the. It's like he's the only candidate that I've ever heard talk about eliminating homelessness. That took my mind. I was like, because as a person that was homeless, I'm like, oh my goodness, you can't talk. This is actually possible that somebody is saying this is a part of his agenda. I can't not be on it. I just can't. I can't not be for him. Mm-hmm. Because he's hidden everything that I've literally talked about, except for the one issue that I want to talk about. But I'm gonna get to comments because Parker's got some really humdingers. Or if he ran within a Democratic Party, yeah, I'd be done. I'm like, dude, get out. But I thought you said that one in the last episode. I did. When he brings up John Coltrane for the 50th time. He's a really big John Coltrane fan. And I had to YouTube some of his work because I didn't even know who he was before Dr. West, to be honest. I was like, who? I'm like, okay, John Coltrane.
Yeah, and I like those jazz artist references because it to me it helps me understand about how America uses the rhythm and the blues, but we sell the rhythm, and mainstream America has a chance to avoid the blues if they want to. It's like a you can't have both. We have a so it just helps us, it helps me understand. To me, it seems like it reminds the rest of America that, America has been using black folks since we got here, like selling us to the rest of the world through them, like saying we're responsible for these black people. See how great they are? You know what they do to our culture? But that's not so. Yeah,
I get it, but I'm gonna have to be with Parker on that. I'm like, dude, come on, look, talk like you talking to a little child. Well, he probably talks like that to a little child too. Probably. He probably does. Okay, so Parker said, I think it's good when he lists off historical figures. Yes, and now that part I get. When he starts talking about Fannie Lou Hamer and Martin Luther King, yes, I'm with him. Um, Related to the political movements, though, he can't overdo with the musical references. LOL. I'm like, could just like I'm never gonna tell a candidate, well, you should be this, and this, cause that's just once I got, oh, this is just him. That's just him being him. That's like saying to me, well, Tracy, color your hair because you look better with black hair. Well, I could, except for I'm resistant and my hair might turn green, but hey, whatever. It's just a part of me.
Right.
And that's when I'm like, look at his policy. So I had to kind of remind myself to look at his policy. Um, and I don't know if you've had a chance to read it.
I know.
But definitely go read it because you'll see, like I said, I had never heard of a candidate talking about eliminating homelessness. Never. I haven't heard Joe Biden say anything about it. You know you're never going to hear Trump say anything about it. RFK, I get more clicks when I say RFK, so here it is, RFK Jr. Because people tend to click. I mean, it's like, I'll just say RFK stands there like, I'm like, okay, there it is. But speaking of this, how can I phrase this question? I know I'm going to get to the top 5 reasons to have you respond to them, but I have to ask this question. In terms of the Voters' Rights Act, this is what I think Dr. West's campaign is missing. I'm hoping you're watching this. Hoping somebody, maybe I'll just send it to them. Be like, here, we have to renew our rights every 25 years. And I've always wondered, why don't we just make them permanent? Just stop renewing them. Just be like, you're a black citizen, you're 18, you have the right to vote.
That's just in case somebody decides to take. That's leaving the option open to take them away, just in case, you know, us black folks ever stand together and stand against. You know, that's a safety net.
And I can't stand that because I'm like, people, I'm for extending. I'm like, no, make it permanent. You don't hear the Hispanic community talking about, well, we got to renew up our voters' rights. You don't hear the Asian community say that. You don't hear the Jewish community. It's only black people that have to get our voting rights extended. And I'm like, no, make them permanent. We're citizens. We pay taxes just like everybody else. So I'm like, I wish someone would come out and talk about that. Because it irritates me to no end that every 25 years, which we're going to be coming up on, we got to get some president or go through Congress and blah, blah, blah. So we're not going to, I'm like, okay, stop it, y'all. Stop it. I just had, of course, get that.
But that's another one of those conversations that you know, that our government does not want to have in public, an honest conversation. And that's the same old thing as we don't negotiate with terrorists, or, you know, that kind of stuff. We're not going to talk to you about that because, you know, if we talk about that, then some semblance of the truth might come out, and we might not be able to hide this lie any longer, you know.
And hello, Marcos Rocha. Subscribe to the channel. I hope I'm pronouncing that name right. Please subscribe. So this is my favorite portion of the show. Where I did a video maybe a month ago, and I listed I called it the 5 dumbest things that and I call them the demopubs, say to third-party voters to discourage them from voting. They want to encourage them to vote for either Trump or Biden. So in this case, third-party candidates, I'm just going to say Cornel West. So just everybody know, anytime I'm talking about, let's say third party, I'm just going to say Dr. West. So the first one I think that agitates me is Dr. West picked a bad time to run for president. I'm going to let you go first, and then I'm just going to go second, because I keep hearing this one, and I'm just scratching my head like,
Yeah, that's always the case. If not now, when? 10 years ago it was the wrong time, and 20 years ago it was the wrong time. But when is it going to be the right time? So that's just somebody saying, to me, that's just somebody trying to um, again, discourage the fact that somebody needs to eventually speak truth to power. We need to address this. And that's just somebody that has more, to me, it seems like a person who would have more that would stand to gain more financially, or continue the privilege that they experience, instead of addressing what's going on in our country. It's never the right time, but it's always the right time to speak truth to power. It's always the right time to do something right now. That's how I feel about it.
you are 100% right. But boy, did I go off when I heard that one.
Mm,
Because it's like, so what? I was like, give me a date. Tell me the exact date, March 15th, 2027. Is that the right date? Is it going to be April 15th, 2032? When is the right date? It's never going to be the right date for you because you want the system to say exactly the same way. You want people to vote for terrible choices because, well, Biden's more likely to get what we want and he's not. And yeah, I went all the way off on that one because I just like who gets to determine this right time? You do.
right,
I mean, I'm
right,
glad that Dr. King, when he was in the March for Washington, didn't say, "Well, now it's not the time,"
right.
or Harriet Tubman didn't say, "It's not right now. It's not the time to go back and free those slaves." Like if people had said now is not the time, cause see, I don't want to go biblical on you, cause I feel like going there, but I don't really
Yeah,
want. I feel like my spirit want to go there and be like, oh, without that crucifix. If they said, no, see, I don't want to do that because this show will turn left in a minute, and I'm trying to, but
yeah,
I could, because I'm like that close. But what if all our most important moments in history, people like said, it's not the time? Some of the things we have would never have happened. We never. Do you get to determine the time? Do I get to? Now is the time is now.
yeah,
If,
right.
like you said, if not now, when? We actually have some new comments coming up. So Marcus Roca, oh, you subscribed? Thank you, thank you, and you liked it. Thank you. Dr. West is the only pro-Palestinian candidate in the race. Technically, he's not. There's Claudia De La Cruz, but he the only one that we know of right off the bat. But she my second pick, but Dr. West first. But she my second. Um, Dr. West talking about Palestine at the rally 10 years ago. I don't know that one. I appreciate about Dr. West as he speaks about the poor, not just the middle class.
Right.
Dr. West is, plus his platform is amazing. Yep, I do too, because I'm like, well, if I wasn't going to vote for Dr. West, I tell you now where my vote be going, but I'm Team West. Team West. But okay, here's the second one. Here's the second one. Oh boy, I got to calm myself down because I'm about ready to go all vacation Bible school on y'all. I ain't really, I really wanted, it's in me, so I just got to go there. But I'm gonna calm it down. A vote for Dr. West is a vote for Donald Trump. I know you've heard this one.
I've heard that. I've heard that. And to me, that sounds like the Democratic Party trying to step around accountability for the way that they've treated people. Promises they've broken.
They didn't
People they've
break
not
any
paid attention to.
promises.
Well, people they've not. Well, I mean, well, they didn't make any
That's
promises.
sarcasm, right? That's
Yeah, they
purely.
didn't make any promises because they didn't promise anything. They made some conversations like, yeah, black people, we see you, and we'll get to you in just a minute.
And that
You
just a
know,
minute don't never come.
and yet it never comes. Never. It's not the right time. It's not the right time to talk about reparations. It's not the right time to talk about apartheid. It's not the right time to talk about those things because they started trying to beat Donald Trump. And so they'll continue this system, the same old system, no matter who gets elected. It's just a way of, it's like wrestling. It's like, to me, it's like wrestling. You know, these Republicans,
Predetermined.
yeah, these guys are already, they already know what they're going to do. And they just playing the game in front of us.
Oh, I got one, but I'm interviewing you, so I'm gonna let you take this one. I'm with the campaign, so if you had any suggestions for Dr. West, which we hope he's watching this show, but again, I'm gonna send it to the campaign, be like, look what I did. But anyway, I'd be sure to pass them. So if you have any suggestions for Dr. West, I'll be sure to pass it to him personally. One, tell him to be on this show because I really love to interview the candidate. But I'm gonna let you take it because I definitely have a suggestion. I don't know how well it'll work, but this is something I think that if Biden did it, I wouldn't have such a problem with them. But you go
I
ahead.
think Dr. West should take it directly to those red states. Like, he's been here, he was here in Mississippi to speak in Mississippi, and there was a big turnout. And I think if he'd have had longer to promote it and more people would have known that he was going to come here in Mississippi, that he would have had an even bigger turnout. Um, he has to go ahead and engage those states who are solid red. This, and not be afraid to talk to these people, because I think that somewhere along the way he can disrupt the system a little bit. He can be more successful at it, yeah, at speaking truth to power, and not being afraid to engage these people. That's what I think.
Artist is so kind, but Tracy is so petty. Take that bully pulpit and use it, dang nabbit. If Congress ain't for your bill, this is what you do. You take this thing called Air Force One. I know it's a lot of energy to use that big old plane, but you got it. It's yours. Use it. Fly to every red state. Everybody that gives you some schmuck about a bill you want to pay, take it right to the people and say, hey, what you gonna do? You call them and tell them to pass the bill that I put in there.
Mm-hmm.
Stop this. This I the parliamentarian stop the $15. No, use the bully pulpit. And second, although you're not responsible for it, encourage more third party candidates to run. Because
Right.
we got about 535 positions open from Senate and Congress. If you combine them, that's about 535 idiots that need to be out of office.
Mm-hmm.
All of them can go, especially the ones from my state. Stop this playing nice. You want to run some smack? I'm gonna run it right back. See, this is why I don't want to run for office. Cause see, the petty in me says, "Oh, you gonna talk smart? I'm gonna fly right to your state. I'm gonna have a rally outside your house. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take it right outside where you live. Stop me.
And
You stop me."
that's what needs to happen. That's the kind of energy that needs to happen. We need to stop allowing people to run from these topics and conversations. You got to show up where they are and say, look, you're going to talk about this, and
I like
and
it.
it,
Yeah,
and if you're not going to talk about it, then shut up while we do something about this.
yeah.
You know.
Let Kirsten Sinema get the president of the United States arrested. I want to see that one happen. I
Yeah.
want to see that one happen. Yeah, you may have got Bishop Barber arrested, which you gonna pay for that one. You don't be getting no bishops arrested. You trash for that. But I ain't gonna get on that. But get the president arrested. Sure. Who gonna put handcuffs on the president of the United States? Show me that police officer. I mean, who? Yep, I protest right outside their house. Right
Yeah.
outside their office and their house. I would keep it petty. I would be the pettiest president ever. You gonna run against me? Okay. Now if you got something better than I'm proposing, hey, I'll step back and be like, hey, pass that bill over there because it's way better than what I thought. But you gonna sit here and not give relief to homeless people and you giving money to Ukraine? Oh no. Oh no, we're not gonna have that. Nope, 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 nope.
Yeah.
I have a genuine question. What do you think is the response for third party Green Party supporters to the point the Supreme Court picks for the Democrats are always going to be better? I think it's garbage, but I'm going to let artists kind of answer that question.
What was the question again now?
I have a genuine question. What do you think is the response from third party Green Party supporters to the point that the Supreme Court picks for the Dems are always going to be better than the Republicans? I don't quite agree with that, but again, I'm interviewing you, not the other way around.
Well, I can kind of see where that's coming from. Sometimes Democrats have a tendency to be people pleasers and try to be soft and want and not really firm. Yeah, not really as firm as they should be. Wanting to um, could be more considerate of the feelings of people on the other side of the aisle and not necessarily, taking into consideration all the facts and things that need to be addressed. So I think that those Republican guys are loyal. They're loyal.
Aren't they?
They, yeah, that's you know, but that's the whole colonizer thing that happens with that. They had to get together to agree that we're going to do all these bad things or do all these unfair things and do it together and pretend like it's not happening. That takes a level of cold that I just can't reach.
Yeah, that's why I'll never be a billionaire because I can't get to that level and just be like, well, I'm gonna crush you and I'm gonna crush. I don't have an enemy.
hmm and in the Democratic Party, we've had a tendency to allow folks to backtrack on a lot of things and not really hold them accountable. Down here we call it crawfishing, where folks start backing up. But we and I think that's one thing. We need folks who are more loyal to the people as opposed to loyal to parties.
Yep. And let's see. Marcos, I put my Twitter account in the comments, but I'm going to let Artist give his at the end of the show. So you can follow us. But here's the other lie that just I don't cuss, right? But I be wanting to when I hear this one. I really want to because I alluded to this at the beginning of the show. A vote for Cornel West is a wasted vote.
Yeah,
Oh, so you've heard this one too?
I've heard that. But that's the same. But that's from the same word track, school of thought that whenever Joe Biden was on the Breakfast Club and said, if you don't vote Democrat, then you're not black.
No,
It's
no,
like,
he said if you don't vote for me,
vote
you're
for
not.
him, you're not black.
Yeah, you're
Yeah,
not black.
yeah. For him
And we just
personally.
let it slide. We was like, well, he just got too familiar.
Yeah. But that's the arrogance of them of folks, being comfortable enough to tell people what to do. And then that I don't know if it's a fear or something that folks, well, we better go along to get along, or the Democratic Party is going to let us go. And then if the Democratic Party lets us go, then who we're going to turn to then? Because the Republicans are open about not supporting us. And so I think that we need to stop trying to attach ourselves to a major party and focus on, the people.
Okay, we got someone new. Jesse Pierce, aka, oh boy, I'm gonna butcher that one. I'm just gonna say Jesse and hope you take that with respect because I'm not gonna get the aka part. It is an insult to our intelligence, but what was worse is black Democrats accepting that he said that and didn't challenge him on it. That's the worst part. I still get flack every time well, he said he apologized. He said man after he called LL Cool J boy, but he addressed a black man as boy. You don't see a problem with but he said man, he's 80. I don't care if he was 5. You don't call a black adult male boy. Especially if you're a white segregationist who has literally said, I don't want my children to go to school with black children because they live in jungles. Make me go back 50 years on you, plagiarizer Joe. But
Right.
see, this I'm trying not to be petty, yeah. I'm really trying. But boy, my pettiness, um, um, it just come out, and I don't mean to be petty, but boy, sometimes I got to get to my last two. I challenged them on it, and now they got Biden remorse. If you could explain that a little bit more, because I think I know what you're saying, but I'm not 1,000% sure. So if you could kind of expand on that. Thank you. I appreciate that because I'm like, y'all forget what this man used to be, right? Dr. West has been consistent over his career. He's consistently been pro Palestine. He's for peace. He's been consistent about that. And that's why we support him because he's stayed consistent. The problem with the Demopubs is they are not consistent, especially the Democrats. I'm going to get to my last couple ones because we've already said a vote for Dr. West is a vote for Donald Trump, and that a third party vote is a wasted vote, but yet they still tell us that it could. That's the one that really gets me because I'm like, you're going to tell me my vote is wasted, but then you're going to turn right around and tell me it's going to determine the election.
Yeah.
Again, which one is it? Like,
so then why don't you have a conversation with me to see how we're going to really, what's the most effective way to use this vote to keep from keep recycling the same bad energy over and over again.
Oh, okay. Party. Now I get it. You're saying voters remorse. Similar, now I'm getting it. But you know what? At least some people had voters remorse. But some people they're gonna still go in there and vote for them. They are consistent and benign. Yes, exactly. Thank you. Oh my goodness. Here the one. I'm gonna have to calm myself down. Take a breath, Tracy. Because I already got hypertension. I'm really trying to get it up there. Oh, I'm really trying. A third party candidate can't. Oh, I'm gonna backtrack. Dr. West can't win, and even if he wins, he won't get it if his laws pass through.
I've heard that before. That's the beginning, though. Him getting elected is the beginning. You know, I think it'll give some of those other folks who feel a certain way the courage to speak differently than they've spoken in public with all these folks around them who will make life difficult for them if they speak a certain way. You know, I think that something like Dr. West being elected president would change people. You know, I know that. Okay, for example, this morning I was watching Hakeem Jeffries on
you
TikTok.
Really want to make me throw up? Okay, go ahead.
There you go, brother. he made me sick because Hakeem Jeffries is a whole black man. You know, I mean, black family and everything. And this brother, and I'm not saying that buys him, that some sort of way makes that he should be loyal to the plight of Palestinian people, but he should have a better understanding of that, and he should have an opinion. But this brother went out of his way not to have an opinion or speak anything about Palestine, about what's going on in Palestine.
Nope. In fact, he called Israel the sixth borough.
Right? What?
He did.
What?
He did. Jesse, what are your thoughts about RFK? Okay, can I answer this one? Okay, so the question is, what are your thoughts about RFK saying he supports cash reparations to descendants of African slavery? He does not. There is a video that I just literally watched. He did a meetup with some black reporters, and he specifically said he does not support reparations. He does not support Medicare for all. He does not support something else done for. He does not support reparations at all. Which, man, hey, I'm done with that from the beginning. But again, RFK, like my page.
No, yeah.
Hakeem Jeffries make me sick too, and he's an uncle. His uncle is Leonard Jeffries. I don't know that name. I don't know the name Leonard Jeffries.
I don't either.
Oh, this is an interview he did. It was years ago that he said that Israel was like the sixth borough. of New York. This wasn't recently. This was like years ago. I wish I could find it, but I know he specifically said, "Oh, I'm like you just had to bring up. You just wanted everything that I just ate to just come out of my mouth and watch me throw up. Oh my goodness." Here's the next to last question, and I know the answer, but I'm gonna ask it anyway. And it's just a simple yes or no question. Do you think that January 25th, 2025, that Cornel West will be sworn in as the next president of the United States?
Yes. Yes.
Wait a minute. No, I don't, because I live in Indiana, so I'll be knowing. Wow, you don't know who Leonard Jeffries is. He's big in the black conscious community. I'm gonna have to look that one up. I really don't. I'm like, oh no. Um, I know I tell people all the time, don't think it's strange because when he wins, because I'm not even saying if anymore. This time, I've never seen a political time like this before, ever. You got the Republican nominee who's going to be Trump. I mean, let's just face fact. Nobody's getting that nomination but Trump.
Right.
He may be in prison. Well, he'll appeal. Uh, but Parker, he has time. He said Cornell would need to jump up to around 20% by the end of 2023 for the end of 23 to happen. I say he has plenty of time to do it. But that's just me. I'm being hopeful. Um, I think this is the best opportunity. And I'm glad he ran because now it makes it, yeah, I probably would have voted green, but I wouldn't have felt good about it. I can
Right.
vote for somebody that I feel like, oh, I support this person. I want this person to actually get their agenda. And I think if he reaches the unregistered voter that doesn't really care for the Democrats or the Republicans, that puts him, he doesn't need a lot to win. He only needs like what, 39 to 42% if it's a 3 to 4 person race to actually pull it off. I think it's doable. And basically, I'm going to be buying my ticket, going to DC, and I'm going to be partying.
Yeah.
I'm going
Yeah.
to be partying.
With the political climate around the world, social climate around the world, I think that everybody can see that, this election, this presidential election, we don't have to choose between the lesser of two evils. We have a candidate out there who is clearly head and shoulders above the other candidates. And I think that it's going to even be hard for a lot of the of really, really solid Republican conservative folks to hold on to all of their people to keep them from going to Dr. West, because it's going to be, because it's just going to be blatantly clear that, having to continue to choose between these lesser of two evils is going to continuously put us in trouble with the rest of the world.
See, I'm right with you. I think exactly the way I'm like, I can't see. I mean, obviously, they play their little dirty tricks in terms of keeping candidates off the ballot, but I can't see why not. Joe Biden is a terrible president. Donald Trump was a terrible president. Um, Wait a minute. I know this is pessimistic, but I would be surprised if he gets on the ballot in more than 30 states, and he may not get that much. I, of course, disagree. I say he gets on all 50 because basically I think the plan forward is way better than he would have stayed with the Greens, but that's me. Um, I think he gets on all 50 and the territories. That's just me. That's literally just me. Um, but that's what I think, and that's why I did this whole show called "Congratulations, 47th President of the United States, Dr. Cornel West." I wouldn't have done this show if I didn't think that he was going to have not even a chance. I literally think he can win this thing.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
I can't see Biden isn't gonna do anything, obviously, and goodness gracious, the impeachment hearing that people keep trying to tell me is a nothing burger, and I keep seeing more and more evidence coming out. I'm like, uh, you may be as bad as Trump or not even worse.
Yeah.
And you got to think about this the way people who say he has no chance. 69% of Republicans don't want Trump to run. 72% don't want of Democrats don't want Biden to run. And 63% think it's time for a third party.
So what's going to be the Republican? The Democratic
Excuse?
audible. Yeah, well, they're gonna call it. They're gonna change the play at the line like Peyton Manning. What's gonna be their audible? Because my daughter is 22 years old. All right, and she is really socially active with a lot of social justice type work. And in her circle of friends, they're like, well, what if the Democrats decide to do something sneaky like put Stacey Abrams or Michelle Obama out front? What's gonna happen then, Dad? I was like, "Ooh, baby, that's gonna be one that we're gonna have to deal with." But I wouldn't put that above, people who want to hold on to power like that, though. And it's gonna be on the citizens to not be fooled by, something slick.
So we would have the wife of a warmonger and who's literally said she doesn't want to run, and Stacey Abrams, who still can't get over the fact that she lost to Jack Kemp.
Right.
Okay, and I'm supposed to be like scared.
Yeah. But
I think I would tell her they're going to do something anyway. That's how. I mean, look at the attacks that they're giving Dr. West. We literally talked about them. We talked about the fact that they said he owes child support.
right.
And even if that was in 2003, that was like, what, 20 years ago? And his children haven't come out and said anything bad about him.
I think that they should make more things about. I'm sorry to cut you off, but
No, go ahead.
I think they should make more of a big deal about these little things that happen. Now, I was watching an interview with Kamala Harris, and
You really want to make me throw up.
there was
You
a
just
man who walked up to the stage and took the microphone right out of her hand, and he was able to get from the audience to the stage to the vice president close enough to put his hands on her, and nobody moved. There was no Secret Service. There was no security. There was no. So that proved to me right then and there how much they value this black woman. They don't value her at all. And so I think people need to make more of a big deal about that. I sent her, and she may never get it, but I sent her messages on Instagram sometimes, because one time I mistook her for somebody else when my brother was doing something with her in an event. But about you can't get comfortable and relaxed like that in places like Mississippi, because people will hurt you. And for that to be able to happen in an event at a gathering that she's speaking at, that just speaks volumes about how much the Democratic Party actually values her.
They don't.
They don't value her.
I mean, as ill prepared as I think, and boy, you talk about somebody I don't. I don't. I don't. I think Jesse just said what I was going to say. Kamala or Cop Mala
Yeah.
is only black when it's convenient. Other times she identifies as South Asian. She does that all the time. Girl don't know who she. But again, to that I always say all skin folk ain't kinfolk. And I think if Obama didn't approve that, if he didn't prove it, I don't know who else could. That's why if all kinfolk ain't kinfolk was a person, you know who it would be.
Yeah.
But I think another last question I gotta ask, because I gotta ask this: why do black people in the audience? I know some of y'all not black, blah blah, but since it's two black people on the screen, I'm gonna just ask this anyway. Why do black people continually continually support the Democratic Party when the Democratic Party obviously doesn't support black people. It's one I'm just sitting there. I'm like, okay, why? I can't understand it.
Hmm. They're good. Well, one, I think it's because the Republican Party is so good at telling black people that we don't want to talk to y'all. We don't want to deal with y'all. Not in any productive way. Not anything positive for y'all. But the Democrats are not Republican. I mean, the Democrats are not Republican. So then that's that lesser of two evils things with the black folks who kind of hold out hope. But I don't understand it either. Why we don't just detach from both those parties and focus on each other. I don't understand that because every election, the black vote is going to determine the next president of the United States and blah blah blah. But we don't treat ourselves like our votes are valuable. And I don't know if it's a fear. I don't know if it's some sort of it has to be some sort of a fear of not being accepted by the by the majority. We have a tendency of wanting approval from the majority.
There it is.
And
Yes.
like you're like you're down, like, but we shouldn't. We got to stop that, trying to get approval from them whenever it's proven over and over again. You know what? Their approval is fake. It don't matter, and it's not going to benefit you at all. So stop voting against the people. You know.
Because I keep wondering, like, things like, well, somebody's like, well, if Biden promised whatever you want, I was like, but I can't trust Biden. He's literally broken every promise to the black community that he's made. How can I, as a black woman, get into the polls and vote for a man that says we don't need a ceasefire in Israel for the East Israel Palestine situation? Yes, we do.
Yes, we do.
We absolutely. I can't vote for someone that says, "Hey, I'm going to forgive all the student loans of anybody that went to a historically black college," then gets on a conference call, gets held to that, and then yells at the people who are asking of it. I can't do that. You're literally wanting me to vote for somebody who I diametrically oppose. He's
Right.
for none of my issues, so why can't I vote? Well, see, here's one I hear, and this is from older black people. Well, the Republicans are racist. Yes, people literally. Yes, I'm glad you had that reaction. I hear this one. I'm like, and the Democrats aren't.
Yeah, right. Right.
Um. Oh, I forgot about this one, Jesse. He said he would meet with Ice Cube and never met with him. I forgot about that. Oh, I forgot all about that. And they treated the way y'all black folks did Ice Cube, y'all wrong.
Right.
Y'all wrong. Y'all know that was trifling. That contract with Black America is legitimate. Legitimate. I'm like, about time somebody put that down in paper. Yes. Y'all need to read it before. He didn't. I forgot all about that.
And that's the thing is like, us as black folks, we respect brothers like Ice Cube for their intellect and for their way to to deliver a message and all this kind of stuff. But then as soon as the system, the Republicans, the Democrats, those who discredit him by calling him a rapper, or then it gets to think other black folks think, oh, what, make an excuse. Well, yeah, maybe we shouldn't because he is a rapper, and
No, his criticism came, not to cut across you, but his criticism came when Trump met with him. Remember when Trump met with him
right,
and took it, and then like Trump wasn't gonna do none of what was in the contract for Black America either. Let's just make that plain. But Trump met with him, and then the Biden Harris team was like, "Oh no, we'll wait until the election is over."
right, yeah, they just
Oh,
pushed. That was totally disrespectful, completely disrespectful, and I think he should have lost. In a lot of ways, Joe Biden is the worst thing to happen to the Democratic Party. Okay, but I think that Joe Biden might be the best thing to happen to Black Democrats, so that we can have a wake up call and understand that, hey, this brother is, he's not. If this is the party that he's running, this party is not about us. This party has no place. This We don't have any place in this party.
I just can't understand. And I'm like, and I had the discussion that caused me to kind of step back from some things. But you know that if you vote for Joe Biden, nothing is going to change.
Right.
You know that, but you're so scared, which I still can't kind of wrap my head around. You scared of what Trump could do. You're scared of fascism. I got a clue for you, honey. Fascism is already here. I don't know
Right.
where you've been living. I don't know what you've been smoking. But it's here. You're talking about what Trump wants to make it a dictatorship. Like we're gonna just sit there and just let him do. We just gonna be like, okay, well he said that's what he said. So that I'm like, you act like we don't got no laws in place to like stop him from doing things. Like we're just gonna let him just do. Well, he's got the Republicans, but we have the courts. I.e., when he wanted to ban all the Muslims from coming in, and the court said, "No, you won't."
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like I don't the the Donald Trump's president's heightened syndrome is a real thing. It is a real disease, and a whole lot of black people and a whole lot of Democrats have it. They will literally say, "Yeah, I agree with Dr. West's platform, but, um, but." No,
Yeah.
there's no but. You have a clear choice. You can either vote for things to stay the same, or you can vote for something radically different
I
and change.
agree. I agree, but I'm afraid that the mainstreams I won't be able to find my place in mainstream America. Like you have a place in mainstream America anyway. I
Yeah,
mean,
like you just all there. Do you think 4 years of Trump 20 to 20, 24 to 28 would be as bad? I think they both would be bad. I think they both would be terrible. Um, let's see.
I think they would be the same, except one would be overt, and one of them would be little more covert. But it's just I think they would be the same kind of
I mean, you
administrations.
think about it. They're like, well, the Republicans are racist. So here's what we'll do, Democrats. We'll steal the election from Bernie Sanders. And it was stolen from him. Stolen. Stolen. Um, and then we'll get Bernie to sell out. Cause he really I'm like, dude, I didn't want to say it, but you done went down into Tracy. Oh my goodness. You done
Yeah.
really I never thought I would see a person that uh, chose to be anti-war say Ukraine needs more money for weapons. What? Huh? What happened? What happened? And I don't want that to happen to Dr. West. I don't. I don't think it would because I think his integrity won't let it. But that system, it'll just if you let it, it'll do one of two things. Well, it'll do one thing. It'll reveal who you really are.
Right.
It will really reveal who you really are. But we've got a lot. Now, see, I didn't. I'm gonna tell you what I did in 2016. I'm not proud of what I'm going to say because I know I did. I went right in that booth and voted for a candidate that I did not like because I was so afraid. And then afterwards, I'm like, why did I do that?
Hmm.
I was in this twice. I've passed up Jill Stein because I passed her up in 2012 when she ran against Obama. I was like, nah, I'm gonna just stick with black, and that didn't work out. So I'm like, yes, I voted. I know this ain't one. I'm not proud of my voting history. I'm really not. But that's what I did, and I'm sorry because I'm just like, y'all done picked the worst person, and said vote for her. Yeah, do this. Because she'll do what Obama did, which he dropped bombs on people. And
Right.
I just, I hope I can do my part in helping getting Dr. West elected. I really do. Whatever, it's supposed to be some type of meetup between all the supporters that's coming up. And I'm like, I want to be a part of it because um, I can't take the way this things. It's just not that I'm scared, but it truly was disappointing to hear a president say he didn't want a ceasefire.
Yeah, that hurt.
I
That
mean, it's like
yeah.
you know what else it shows me though? We can't afford Medicare for all. If you're willing to spend that much money in war, you could just scoot it over here and spend it on health care,
Right.
housing, but you want to spend.
But
But
like I said, the worst thing to happen, he could be the worst thing to happen to the Democrats, but the best thing to happen to black people to kind of expose like that ugly core that they pretend is not there. That like we got your back, but we really don't. I mean, I really feel like a lot of folks have been fooled by the Democratic Party because the Republican Party is so abrasive about not supporting
but
black
you know
people.
what? I'll give credit to the Republicans. They tell you exactly who they are. They don't hold back on it. They're like, we don't like you. We don't want you to have rights. We prefer you not even be in this country. They'll tell me who they are. I know. What I can't stand about the Democrats is they'll sit and lie on your face. We'll give those $2,000 checks out, and then 2 weeks later, well, see, you already got 600, so we're gonna just give you 1,400, and together, that that makes 2,000. Oh, but we can't forgive the loans for students of historically black colleges because what if you don't go to a historically black college? That's going to look like it's all of these excuses that they've already built in. And we as black people, we keep falling for them and falling for them and falling for them. And I wish I knew the formula to like say, wake up, you're being lied to and you're okay with it. I think that's what frustrates me
It's
is
going to have to be something in the music, in the culture. It's going to have to be something that we put directly into our. Remember Voter Die back in the day with Diddy and all of them with the Voter Die T-shirts and how much energy that produced in the black community as far as being active in voting. Now it was I think it was misled. I think it was we should have been that could have been a lot more productive with that energy. But I think it's going to take some of that speaking truth to power. I was here listening to this conversation about hip hop music, and it was saying about how hip hop music was down. Hip hop sales of hip hop music was down 40% over the past 2 years, I believe. But if you look at all the things that have happened over the past few years, as far as where this music comes from and where this culture comes from, you've had Black Lives Matters protests. You've had all these things that happened to where it changed black folks' relationship with the political system. And the biggest buyers of hip hop music was white people. But that's whenever they're buying stuff about geared towards keeping the audience kind of dumb and dancing. But when you have music that has substance in it, um, it changes the culture, the message, and it's not like those people that are not buying the music right now. It's not like they're not going to circle back and buy it later on. They're just waiting for black folks to validate to other black folks that it's good, and then they'll come in and buy because they don't create cool. We create cool, so they're going to follow whatever we. They're going to follow the trend of the cool creators. And I think that's gonna be a tool that we're gonna have to use in order
yeah.
to win this.
I've had to agree because like most black people know the Democrats are lying to them. They'll even say it,
Oh yeah,
but they'll still go vote. I'm like, you gonna still vote for it? You okay with this? But they'll like, well, this person over here, let them win then. I mean, seriously, what changes? There's still gonna be homeless under either candidate. There's still gonna be low wage paying jobs. Nothing changes. So why not take the chance? Vote for somebody that truly supports you and that you could truly support and not have to worry about, oh, who he's getting his money from. Even if it's a one-time contribution of $3,300, like that's gonna make some big old difference.
Right.
Like that's just gonna deter the whole campaign. And so it's just, I try to do my little part, and I know it's a little part, but um we gotta do something. We
Yeah.
got to do something. Um let's see. So we're gonna get to these comments and then I'm gonna call this an evening. He killed Gaddafi too. Oh, Obama did. Yep, that's true. They don't have our backs and never have. So true. Right, Tracy. Tell them how they honestly feel. Right, the faces changed, but the game remains the same. Isn't that it? It's your decision. Would you rather have a Jamu at the top of the ticket or Jill? It's gonna be Jill at the top. I can't see a Jamu wanting to be president. Maybe I'm wrong, but RFK got a huge. See, now this one, people keep saying he's getting donations from the GOP, but I thought they disowned him once he went independent. But I could be wrong. Um, I want to thank everybody for this one. This has been, see how much better the show goes when I have people to interview and I can talk to other people about how they support Dr. West, and I'm not out here stumbling all over myself with a bunch of and but we'll do this the third. I wanted to do this every week, but it doesn't look like I'm gonna have enough guests for every week. So we'll continue. Let's see. I want to get the calendar out here real quick, y'all. Sorry. November. See, we can't do it the 25th. Oh, sorry. So November the 18th will be the next show of this. So somehow I'm hoping I find one other supporter, or it'll be me stumbling again. But irregardless, I'm going to be on. So remember, before I get to the like, share, subscribe, go to cornelwest24.com. cornelwest24.com. Drop a donation. If you got $3,300, loan me 20. But drop a donation there. Sign up as a volunteer. And remember, I'm going to have artists tell you how to connect with him. If you want to connect with him about his campaign, even though we took a break from that and talked about Dr. West today, tell them how they can connect with you about your campaign.
Well, I'm on all my entire life pretty much is on my Facebook page, Artist Bernie, because I'm a real person. I'm a whole person out here in South Mississippi. I don't have anything to hide, and if there's anything that about me that needs to be talked about, we can talk about that kind of stuff. I don't have to pretend to be something else to do a good job or get elected. I don't think I have to anyway. Also, my Instagram, my Twitter, Artist Bernie. And also, if you'd like to make a donation to my campaign, it's running a little bit late, but every little bit helps. Is $ Cosmic Poetry. And if you'd like to find out what's going on here in South Mississippi or talk about anything, feel free to reach out.
Okay, so you got a message. Jesse says, "Hey, artist, good luck on your Senate run in Mississippi."
Thank you, Jess. Thank you.
He just followed you on Twitter or X. Yeah, which one is it?
Thanks.
So,
yeah.
everybody, thank you. Thank you. I had a great time doing this. I appreciate everybody that came. Remember to like this page, subscribe to this page, share this video. And if you know of a Cornel West supporter, and if you are a Cornel West supporter that would like to be on the show next month, hit me up by email at TRACYMedia, and that's TRACYMedia llc@gmail.com. I'll be on the lookout for some people, but please, please, please email me because I'm way better at interviewing people than sitting here stumbling over words. Thank you all so much. Have a great
Thank you.
evening. I'll see you all Thursday for a show that I don't have a guest for, but I'm sure I will think of something. Have a great evening. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye.